The monthly family brunch was a tradition my mother insisted on. It began 15 years ago when my younger brother graduated from university. Every first Sunday of the month, the entire family gathered at the country club, dressed elegantly, performing the ritual of appearing like a successful and loving family. I had stopped attending regularly 3 years earlier. After selling my cybersecurity company to Microsoft for $90 million. At first I was too busy with the transition. Then too occupied building my next project. And eventually simply tired of pretending for people who had spent my entire childhood telling me I would never achieve anything. But my grandmother had asked me to come that month. She was turning 90 and wanted her whole family present. I could not say no to her. She was the only person in my family who had ever believed in me. She helped pay for my university when my parents insisted that studying computer science was a waste of time for a girl. So I went wearing jeans and a nice sweater, driving the Honda I had owned for 8 years because I saw no point in expensive cars. My mother was already presiding over the table when I arrived, surrounded by my 3 siblings and their families, plus several aunts, uncles, and cousins. "Oh look, the millionaire has arrived," announced my brother Kevin as I approached. "Did you come in your fancy car or did you take an Uber because you're too important to drive yourself?" "I drove," I said quietly, taking the only empty seat, which, as expected, was at the far end of the table, away from my grandmother. My sister Melissa laughed. "Let me guess, you're still driving that old Honda? I saw it in the parking lot. Very impressive for someone who supposedly sold a company for millions." "I like my car," I replied. "You're an embarrassment," my mother said without even trying to lower her voice. "Your sister drives a Mercedes. Kevin has a Range Rover. Even your younger brother has a luxury car. And you show up here looking like you shop at thrift stores." "I'm comfortable," I said. "You're comfortable being the disappointment," she corrected. "We tell people you're successful and then you appear like this. How are we supposed to feel proud of you?" I had heard variations of this my entire life. When I studied computer science in university, they said I would never get a job. When I got a position at a tech startup, they said I was wasting my potential. When I started my own company, they said I would fail within a year. When my company succeeded, they said I was just lucky. When I sold it for $90 million, they said the buyers were idiots and it wasn't really worth that much. Nothing I ever did would be enough because it did not prove success in the way they wanted. I did not buy luxury cars or designer clothes. I did not post my achievements on social media. I simply worked hard, saved money, invested carefully, and tried to build things that truly mattered. My grandmother looked at me from across the table and smiled sadly. She had always known. The brunch continued with the usual performances. Kevin bragged about his sales numbers at his father-in-law's real estate company. Melissa talked about her husband's promotion at his law firm. My younger brother Daniel showed photos of his vacation in Bali, fully funded by our parents. "What have you been doing?" my Aunt Linda asked politely. Before I could answer, my mother interrupted. "She sits in her apartment writing code. Very glamorous, very impressive." "I'm developing a new cybersecurity platform for small businesses," I said. "Still playing with computers," Kevin said. "Some things never change." My mother stood up then, holding her mimosa. She had already had at least 3. Her face had that flushed tone that meant she was moving from slightly drunk to dangerous. "Watch this," she announced loudly, drawing everyone's attention. "This is how we treat people who embarrass the family." She walked over to where I was sitting and poured the entire mimosa over my head. The cold orange juice mixed with champagne ran down my face, soaking my sweater and my hair. The table fell into complete silence for about 3 seconds. Then Kevin started laughing, pulled out his phone, and began recording. "This is gold. This is absolutely gold." Melissa also took out her phone and recorded from another angle. Daniel recorded with a smile on his face. My cousins had their phones raised. Half the table was filming me as the juice dripped from my hair. "This is how we treat trash," my mother said clearly, making sure everyone heard. "People who don't respect themselves or their family." I stood up slowly, the juice dripping onto the floor. I looked at my grandmother, who had tears in her eyes but said nothing. She was 90 years old and had stopped trying to control her daughter's behavior decades ago. I picked up my purse, took out my wallet, and left $60 on the table for my share of the brunch. Then I walked out of the country club without saying a word. In my car I sat for a moment, sticky, humiliated, and cried. Not because my mother had poured a drink on me. I had survived worse from her. But because I had believed that perhaps this time would be different. That perhaps success on my own terms would finally be enough. I drove home, showered, changed into clean clothes, and tried to forget it. The video appeared on social media 6 hours later. Kevin had posted it on Facebook with the caption, "When your sister thinks she's too good for the family, Mom shows her how things are done." Melissa shared it with other family members. Sometimes people need to be put in their place. Daniel posted it on Instagram with laughing emojis. It received a few dozen likes and comments from family friends, most of them laughing or joking that I deserved it for acting superior. I blocked everyone and tried to move on. Then it happened. Someone, I never found out who, shared the video beyond the family circle. It was picked up by one of those drama repost accounts. Then another, and another. Within 48 hours the video had 3 million views. But it was not going the way my family expected. The comments were not laughing at me. They were horrified by my family. This is abuse. This woman just assaulted her daughter on camera and everyone recorded it. The fact that they're all recording and laughing is psychotic. Imagine being so cruel to your own daughter. Then someone recognized me. Wait, isn't that the woman who founded CBS Child? She's on the Forbes 30 Under 30 list. She sold her company for $90 million. The narrative changed instantly. The media picked it up. Tech blogs wrote articles. Tech entrepreneur publicly humiliated by family at brunch. Video goes viral. It became a trending topic on Twitter. Family pours drink on Forbes featured entrepreneur, made the front page of Reddit. My phone started ringing. Public relations firms offered to help manage the situation. Journalists requested interviews. Other tech founders reached out to offer support and share their own stories of family dysfunction. I ignored most of them but issued a short statement through my company's PR team. I appreciate the concern. This is a private family matter. I am focusing on my work and moving forward. The public backlash against my family was immediate and severe. Kevin's real estate firm began receiving negative reviews. Would you trust someone who filmed his mother assaulting his sister? Clients called his office asking if he was the person in the video. His father-in-law, the owner of the firm, called him into a meeting. Kevin was fired 3 days after the video went viral. His father-in-law issued a statement, "We do not employ individuals whose personal behavior reflects negatively on the values of our firm." Melissa's husband was a partner at a law firm that prided itself on professional ethics. When the video showed his wife laughing and recording the incident, the managing partners were not pleased. They called him in for inappropriate conduct. He was not fired, but it was made clear that his wife must delete all her social media accounts and issue a public apology. His path to full partnership was quietly suspended. Daniel worked in marketing at a tech startup where half the employees followed tech news and recognized me from Forbes and various conferences. They saw their colleague's brother enthusiastically recording what was essentially an assault. He was called in. "We are a company based on respect and inclusion. We cannot employ someone who participates in and celebrates family abuse, especially against a woman in technology. You are terminated." My mother was retired, so she had no job to lose. But she sat on the boards of 2 local charities. Both boards asked her to resign after the video surfaced. We cannot have board members whose public behavior contradicts the values of our organization. Her membership at the country club where everything had happened was suspended pending review. Several lifelong friends stopped answering her calls. The rest of my extended family who had been at that brunch and participated in the recording faced their own consequences. Aunts and uncles encountered issues at work. Cousins received backlash on social media. Everyone who had filmed and laughed now faced professional and social repercussions. They all called me, every single one of them. Kevin cried, asking me to issue a statement saying the video had been taken out of context. I did not respond. Melissa's husband called begging me to say online that his wife was not normally like that. That it was just a family joke gone wrong. I blocked his number. Daniel sent long messages explaining he had not wanted this to happen. That he was just going along with everyone else. That he was very sorry. I did not respond. My mother called from a number I did not recognize. "This is your fault," she said when I answered without thinking. "You need to fix this. Tell people I was joking. Tell them it didn't hurt you. You poured a drink on my head and called me trash while everyone was recording." I said quietly. "That's what happened. That's what the video shows. It was just family dynamics. You're too sensitive. You always have been. Now you've ruined everyone's life because you can't take a joke." I didn't post the video. I said, "Kevin did. You all chose to film it, post it, and laugh. The internet simply showed you how that looks to people outside our family. You need to fix this." "No," I said, "I won't." I hung up and blocked that number too. My grandmother called from her landline. The only family member I still answered. "I'm sorry," she said. "I should have stopped her. I should have said something." "You couldn't stop her," I replied. "It's been like this my whole life. You know that." "I know. That's why I'm calling. I want you to know I changed my will last month. Everything goes to you. The house, the investments, everything. About $4 million in total. Your mother gets nothing. Your siblings get nothing. Only you. Grandma, you don't have to do that." "Yes, I do. I've watched them treat you like trash for 30 years. I've watched you succeed despite them. Not because of them. You're the only one who deserves anything from me. They're going to be furious. They're already furious. At least this way you'll be compensated for a lifetime of cruelty." The video continued circulating for weeks. The news cycle moved on. But in tech circles I became known as the woman whose family poured a drink on her. People in the industry were incredibly supportive. I received invitations to conferences, meetings with investors, and partnership offers, all from people who had seen the video and wanted to support me. My new cybersecurity platform launched 2 months after the brunch incident. We secured funding more easily than I expected. Investors specifically mentioned seeing the video and being impressed by how I handled the situation with dignity. "You didn't respond with aggression. You didn't make a media circus. You just focused on your work." One investor said, "That's exactly the kind of founder we want to support." The company was valued at $50 million at launch. 6 months later we closed a Series A at $80 million. I owned 60%. My family situation did not improve. Kevin's marriage fell apart. His wife left him, taking the children, citing his inability to protect them from the public backlash. He moved back in with my parents. Melissa's husband's path to partnership was formally withdrawn. He blamed Melissa. Their marriage became strained. Daniel could not find another job in technology. The video followed him everywhere. He moved to another city to start over. My mother became effectively isolated from her social circle. The video showed who she really was. And no one wanted her near them. 1 year after the brunch incident, my grandmother passed away peacefully in her sleep. The reading of the will was exactly as she had promised. $4 million, including her house, investments, and savings, everything to me. My mother contested the will. The lawyer showed the judge the viral video. "Your Honor, this video, which has been viewed more than 20 million times, shows how the plaintiff treated her daughter. The late Mrs. Henderson's will specifically states that she is leaving everything to Sarah because Sarah was the only family member who consistently treated her with love and respect. The video supports this reasoning." The contestation was dismissed. I sold my grandmother's house and donated a significant portion of the money to organizations that support women in technology. The rest went into investments and savings. My family stopped contacting me after the will was settled. I heard through distant relatives that they blamed me for everything: the viral video, the lost jobs, the social ostracism, the inheritance. They never acknowledged that they created the video, filmed it, posted it, laughed at it, and called it entertainment. They simply never expected the world to see them the way I had seen them my entire life. 3 years later I run a successful company valued at over $200 million. I have appeared on several Forbes lists. I give lectures on cybersecurity and entrepreneurship. I have built a life I am proud of. And somewhere my family is living with the consequences of thinking that filming abuse was entertainment and that posting it online would make them look good. They wanted to humiliate me. Instead, they documented exactly who they were for the entire world to see. Sometimes the best revenge is simply stepping aside and letting people reveal themselves. Thank you for listening to today's story. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. See you in the next story.